Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to Crafters TV. My name is Ben Mosby. Thanks for being here for Beautiful Beginnings. This is our show where we take things back to basics just a little bit. So if you are fairly new to crafting, this is the show for you. And certainly a show to ask any questions in as well. Essentials Corner coming up a little bit later on in the show. So if you've got any questions, fire them in. We normally require a minimum of about 10 to 12 questions. Over the last few weeks, we've had more. So the pressure is on you in this show to get the questions in. Jan is on this show, so I know she'll keep us right with a running total of the amount of questions that we've got. We're going to be looking at the 3D embossing folders with the dies and templates over the course of this show that we did a little bit of on the Crafters Connect this morning. But you can ask any questions you like, anything about die cutting, anything about embossing, anything about stamping, inking, colouring, gluing, you name it, you can ask it. If you want to ask any personal questions, you can ask them as well. I mean, not too personal, obviously. But yeah, anything you want to ask, we need a minimum of 10 questions, please. And we'll be doing that at around about 1/4 Just say a massive thank you to everyone that tuned into Crafters Connect earlier on. You'll have had the heads up as to what was coming up through the day. It was a record-breaking show, 179 thumbs up. And I can't remember, Alison came up with a catchphrase. Oh yes, stick up your thumbs if you're having crafty fun. That was the stick up your thumb if you're having crafty fun. Dean's not a big fan of that. I don't know why. I don't know why. He just said, we might need to come up with a little bit better one than that. I like it. Alison, stick up your thumb if you're enjoying the crafty fun. So do that on YouTube. Is this show just on YouTube, by the way? It is. Next one is across both if you want to switch over to Facebook. So yeah, give us a thumbs up, please. 179 to beat. And of course, we have a bit of fun with it, but it does mean the more you thumbs up these videos, the more you'll get, the more crafty content you'll receive, and all will be right with the world. I'll say a few hellos. Oh, by the way, also just to say, it's National Puppy Day today too. I showed you some pictures of puppies in the last show that were on my Facebook page. If you want to send them into the studio, you can. I've still got more puppy pictures to bring to you that were left on my Facebook page earlier on, but if you want to send in any pictures, and when I say puppies, it can be young dogs, it can be old dogs, it can be actual puppies, but you know what I mean? Your faithful furry friend. studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk. And I'm not making that up. I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, he always goes on about dogs, that guy. He's always talking about dogs. He's made that one up. No, it is. It's for real. I haven't made it up. It's an actual day. So send in your pictures. No, we're just doing dogs today. Just doing dogs today. Just doing dogs today because it's National Puppy Day. Anyway, let's get on with the show because we've got lots to do. And here she is for me and you. It is the one and only, back for the week. Back for 3 days, all the way from Wigan. It's the Wigan Womble. Her craftiness herself, the one and only, the amazing, the brilliant, the stupendously talented Sheila Halliwell.
Hello.
All right?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
How's your day been so far?
Fine, actually.
Yeah?
Well, so fine. It didn't get off to a great start. Just horrific traffic.
Oh, no.
On the motorway. On the motorway, I come up. There's another one that goes across here, so I could come that way, which I normally do, or I could go onto that one. But that one was closed both ways, so there was a backlog of all that on this one. Oh. So it was like, I think I did 4 miles in 20 minutes.
You still got here in good time, though?
I got here, yeah, I mean, I was meant to be here for 11 for a meeting, wasn't I? But then the meeting was postponed, and I got here at 20 past in the end, because it did start moving, but there'd been an accident as well, and a closed motorway, so it was just... It's stressful, isn't it, when you're driving? Anyway, it doesn't matter because we got here, so... That's
the main thing. As I say, the meeting was cancelled anyway. I was a bit late this morning, so all the cool cats were late today.
All the cool cats?
Yeah. We're going to be looking at the embossing folders with dies and stencils, aren't we, in this show?
Yes. As our lovely viewers may know, we're trying to do a few different kinds of projects. So, because obviously everybody's different. Lots of you like to do cars, lots of you like to do construction, lots of you like to have ideas about other things. So we're trying to do a few different things on some of the shows as well. So, and our team that put our sales lists together and things sometimes like to have their input as well. So we've had some of our teams coming up with ideas that they think might work with our products as well. So we are trying today, well, we're not trying, we're going to make a photo frame using one of the embossing folders that has the aperture in the middle. So you'll have seen Ben's beautiful card that he did this morning. So we're going to use well, probably that same embossing folder actually, but we'll do it in a slightly different way, making it into little photo frame like we've got here. And we've put a stand on it as well. So you've got a little stand and then you've got some flowers on the front. What we are going to try and do with this as well is we're going to try and add some of our chunky glitter paste. We've got some glitter paste on the show. We've also got some gilding flakes, but we think this might work because we're going to use it on some of the 12 by 16 inch pearl cardstock. So we think this paste might work nicely on there. So we're going to have a little bit of a play as well and show you how to do a frame.
Excellent news. Loads of pictures, by the way, of pups to show you later on. We've got some golden doodles. We've got a Shorky Poo. Shorky Poo. We've got, if you remember our, Shorky Poo. Do you want to see a Shorky Poo before we get started?
Yeah.
So this is, whose dog is this? Hang on, this is Anita De Bruin, her Shorky Poo, who's called Buddy. If you wonder what a Shorky Poo looks like, that's a Shorky Poo.
Oh my goodness. It's just so cute.
A Shih Tzu Yorkie, surely. No, Shih Tzu Yorkie Poodle, isn't it?
Oh, is that
Shorky
what it is?
Poo.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Shih Tzu Yorkie Poodle.
Oh, she's so
As in Yorkshire Terrier, not as in the chocolate bar. Murphy and Magnolia. These are Deborah's doodles. Look at those.
Look at those two.
They're really cute, aren't they?
Oh, look at how they're like woolly, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're so sweet.
They are super cute. I'll show you, did I just show you a couple more? I'm into it now. Sorry. This is Bowie. Do you remember our Nicola, producer Nicola? There's her dog Bowie, fresh from a trim.
Oh, look at these little tufts on its ears.
Yeah.
So cute.
Tufty ears. Who else have we got here? Let me show you a couple more. This is Lily. Oh, sorry. Oh, this is Lily and Finley, Nadia's beagles. Oh, look at these two.
Oh, they are lovely, aren't they?
Super cute. And then we'll show you two more. So Carolyn Cooey, this is Sassy, who settled into her new home and seems to like Carolyn's shoes. Look at Sassy. Cute! And then one more for now. Leaning in. One more for now. This is brilliant because he's a cute dog and he's also got a cute name. So this is from Valerie Rollins, her dog Colin. So this is Colin Rollins. Look at Colin.
Colin Rollins, they're brilliant. He's got like a proper name, like a human.
Yeah.
Colin Rollins.
I love dogs that have human names. So my friend Suzanne, who goes to my gym, she's got a Springer Spaniel. He's called Alan. And I just think it's the best name for a dog.
Yeah.
Alan.
Yeah, a friend of mine has a pug called Alan.
Yeah.
Prior to that, she had a greyhound called, I think he was he Dave? Or was
Dave, yeah,
was
Dave
it Gary? I'm not sure if it wasn't Gary. Can't remember.
Gary.
Yeah.
Gary. So this is what I made earlier. This is my little project.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's quite bright and fun, isn't it?
Lovely.
So yeah, we had a bit of fun with that. Yeah, it matches my personality. Thank you, Jimmy. Bright and fun. So that's what I did. And these are the sets that you can get. So I haven't got a board for it, but that one there was used with, was made rather, with the Radiant Rose. So in each set, and Sheila will tell you in a second, but you get the 3D embossing folder there. And then you get your, that's not a stencil per se, it's like it's the template, so you can line up your die to be able to cut the aperture to then use your embossing folder over the top of it. You'll see on some of the cards as well, because you don't always have to use that, do you? You can just emboss without the cut. Yeah, you don't need the aperture at all. You might want to just be stamping into the middle with a sentiment or putting some little flowers or some gems or something like that, so you don't have to cut the aperture out. You've got the choice, and that's why I've got the stenciling and the die. So that's your Radiant Rose. This one is your Alluring Anemones. So again, you've got that beautiful 3D emboss of all those flowers and then the die to cut out your aperture. This one here is your Ethereal Echinacea. So it's a beautiful one, that actually, isn't it? Yeah. Looks really lovely. And again, you've got the die to be able to cut out that perfect aperture. And then lastly is your gorgeous gerbras. Gorgeous gerbras there. And again, the die to cut out that beautiful, beautiful centre part. And again, very quickly, because I know we've got lots to get on with. Oh, that's upside down. That's nice, isn't it? That's cute, isn't it? Make little shakers. That one is, again, with the Radiant Rose, pardon me, with the shaker. And this one, just to show you, so that's the example there, isn't it, of it being used, but without the die cut.
Yes.
I think that looks really cute still.
It's very nice. I think it's quite subtle, isn't it? It's completely different. If you cut the inner bit out and then put shakers and things inside, it becomes more bold and more kind of, just more chunky.
Yeah.
But again, there's a lot of ideas that you can get, and that's why we like to bring a lot of our products back, isn't it? To give you different ways of using them, or something you might not have thought of, or for you to just, get them out and refresh your memory and start using them. They make beautiful projects.
Absolutely. Can I just double check here? I hate to point out mistakes. I'm sure earlier this morning this was only available in the US. Yeah. I'm a stickler for the detail. $27.12 is the price on that. If you're in the US, if you want to buy them individually, you can. But as we discussed earlier on, 1 is 17, 4 is 27. So you know the way to go. I would even hesitate. Well, I wouldn't hesitate. I'm going to say it. Even if you've got one of these already, it's still worth having a duplicate at that sort of price, I think, to get all of the set. Right, should we get over to Sheila and see what she's going to concoct? I hear she's going to make a rocket.
Oh, do you know what? It doesn't matter what we've got on the show. They ask for a rocket.
Yeah.
I really don't think it's physically possible to make a rocket.
One day.
From this.
No, probably not.
No, you're asking too much of me now.
Okay.
You're asking too much of me.
We'll shush.
So we've got the so in your pack, as Ben said, you're going to get your stencil, which in effect really is a template, and then you're going to get the inner die. So this means that if you want to cut the aperture out, you would pop this in here, and we can tape it down, and then you can do a pass on your card through the machine with that, and then we would emboss it. You might want to just use that on a project, and you might want to put your own flowers on. You might want to put some quilled flowers. You might not want to emboss it. So again, there's a couple of other options for you there. But what we're going to do, first of all, then, I'm going to just change my glasses because I thought, oh, that was looking a bit weird. That's better. Now I can see what I'm doing. So you just slot your die into the aperture on the stencil. You'll feel it sitting there. And then we'll pop a little bit of tape on. If you want to, you can actually leave your die on there. Just keep it in your pack like that, because then it's kind of done.
Yeah.
And what you'll do then is, once you've put it through your machine and cut it, you'll then put your piece of card on here, and you'll emboss it. So you can't go wrong, really. Until you've used it, it all looks a bit like kind of, oh, how do I do this? What is this bit for? I've never seen something like this before. Because I was exactly like that when I first joined the team. I was like, what is this bit? What does that bit do? Debbie Fisher kindly showed me on my first
good old fish
week that I was here. So then I kind of got the idea. And then now we can just get on and do a bit of cutting. And we're going to use this beautiful cardstock. This is the first time I've used this cardstock, actually, the 12 by 16 pearl cardstock, which has got a really nice kind of goldy glint to it. So we've got that on there now with a bit of tape, and what we're going to do is pop that through the Gemini, and then we can cut that. Let's bring the little platforms down, and then we can do that. Yep. So just as with a die cut, we're going to pop the template onto the white plate, and then we'll put the frosted plate, and we'll put the white plate. It's not an intricate die, so that should just do the job.
Excellent.
And we'll pop that through there.
Whilst you're cutting, I realise I've not said hello to anyone, so a few quick hellos. Ursa, Jen Shank, Alison Mason, Sheila Sloggy in Great Yarmouth, Sue Colville, Tina B, Shell's joined us, Sweet Imp in Chesterfield, Sue Colville, Candice Ishmael and Sandy Cockerfer, just a few who are with us so far.
There are a couple of names on there I don't recognise, I think.
Oh, no questions as yet either, 15 minutes in. That's disappointing, isn't it, Sheila?
Yeah, we need some questions.
Yeah. If we don't get any, I'll just ask you some questions.
Yeah, we'll make some.
I'll fire some at you. Yeah.
We'll make something up.
Yeah.
So you can see now how nice that has cut. It's beautiful, that pearlescent card. It's very smooth as well, isn't it? And it's pearlescent on both sides, which is always a boon.
A boon.
A boon.
12 by 16 as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That cardstock.
Yeah, definitely. So what we want to do now is we want to pop it onto here. So we need to make sure that the Crafter's Companion logo is at the bottom. However, you can't do it wrong, to be honest, because if you were to put that on the wrong way like that, you would see you've got flowers poking out here and here. So it's quite obvious where it's going to sit. Now I've cut my card to 5.5 by 5.5 inches. So we'll probably find when it's gone through the machine, it's going to have the little edge on. If you want to cut that off, you can. I did on the photo frame because that was then how I decided where I wanted it to be. Now, at this point, what you can do, and I don't often do this, but if you're wanting to tape that on, because it can shift when you put it through. So if you want to do that, you can. I'll probably just pop a little piece there, just in the middle, like that. Because can you see now, when I shut that, even though you think you've got it, you put it on there and you think you've got it in the right place, and then when you push it down like that, it moves forward a tiny, tiny bit.
Right.
So, and you can see that now by my tape, because my tape has kind of bent a little bit. So what I'll do, I'll just pop that there as well. There we go. That feels better. And if you've never done something like this, then it's a good thing to just have a try. Try it on some scrap card, maybe a bit of card that you're not going to use, and that will be fine. Now it's a 3D folder, so what we need to do is I need to just get my magnetic shim. So we're going to pop that onto there, and then we're going to pop this onto here, and then we'll pop that through the Gemini. Oh, turned itself off there.
Stephanie Theodos, hello. Sarah Ibbotson, hello in Arkansas. And Jeffrey Langley. Sue Colville's joined us. And Tina B is also in. Hi to Donna Jones as well. Teresa Adams saying, when were these released? I think 2024, I want to say. Just judging by the packaging. I think they're at least a couple of years old. Oof.
Look at that. That is amazing, isn't it?
Sculpted, isn't it?
That's so beautiful on there. It really, really is. It's so beautiful. Look on the deboss side as well. The deboss side is nice. Really, really nice. Okay, so let's pop that to one side then. So what we need to do now is we want to trim this down, because I don't want this edge on. I want it to be trimmed quite closely. So I'm going to do that now. And then this then depicts how big you're going to do your frame.
Right.
Because you might want to do it, well, I'll bring mine in a minute just to show you how close I've done it. Oh, I might do it from the top there, but just because this is quite soft card. In fact, I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to do it the other end. Let's bring this in, just because it's quite soft, and I don't want to kind of tear it. So let's just go down that end there like that, and then. Yeah, it's weird. We've got our new scoreboard now with the trimmer, and because we've used our other guillotines and trimmers for so long now, that you kind of have to think for a minute when you're putting it on here, which end you need to cut it from.
Yeah.
You know, so normally with a guillotine, we do it here and then we chop there, and it's like, ooh. It's not right, that, so I'm just going to take that little bit off there because it's not quite, there we go. It's just hanging on there, and that's because of the embossed bit. So let's trim down here. So and obviously I'm lining the edge of that up on the groove there where it will cut. And I'll just go down there, and then we can do that end. There's not really that much on that end that needs chopping out. I don't think I'm going to do that. I feel like that's okay. There's one little end bit here that's just gone a little bit kind of to the right.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just going to just snip that with my scissors just to neaten that up.
Yes.
And then we know that that's nice and straight. Okay, there we go. So what we need to do now is we need to bring in the piece of card that we're going to make the frame from. So if I bring this one in, and I've done this in just plain cream cardstock, so you can see now what I've done. I wasn't sure how big I needed my square to be to make the frame, because I've not made a frame with one of these before. So I thought, okay, if I look at how big of a gap I want around the edge of this, and I've got it's probably like 3 millimeters or something around the edge, so that would just sit on. So that is how I decided what I was going to do, what size I wanted it to be. Now, it doesn't mean that you can only do it that big. If you're wanting to do a bigger frame and have a bigger edge on it, then you can do that as well. So you might want to do like a bigger edge like that, and this would just sit in the middle. So what we need to do now then is we need to decide what size we're going to do. So we've got on here, we've got a fold, and then we've got a second fold, so we're making the sides and like a partial back. And then what we do is we put another piece on the back, because we need to be able to get a photo in there before we put the back on. So what you can do is you can measure this. I'm going to get my pencil. You can measure this on your mat if you want to. So if I bring this to here, now we know that this is 5, and when we cut it, we use a 5.5 inch square. Well, I do anyway, when we cut it to go in the embossing folder. But then we've just trimmed it a little bit, so it's now gone to like 5.25, because we've trimmed a bit off all the way around. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put this here, like this, and I'm going to decide where I want it to sit on my frame, on my paper, sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move it up, because I want to do, I think what I'll do on this one, I'll do, on my original one, I'm just going to get my sizes, I did a score at 5/8 of an inch, but let's change this slightly. Let's do it at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to allow 3/4 of an inch here, and then another 3/4 of an inch here. So that's going to give me 1.5 inches. We'll put this 2 here, and this is, I'm rubbish at maths, as you all know. I'm absolutely rubbish. And when it comes to fractions, well, I just get up and go into another room and, you know, eat a biscuit or something.
I can eat a biscuit.
I just can't bear it. I just cannot bear maths. So what we're going to do, so we'll do like, we're going to do 3/4 of an inch, and then another 3/4, because we want a score line here. Then we'll put this on here, and then we'll count. We want to leave a little gap around the edge on that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just measuring along the bottom, and then I'll shunt that up, because we're going to have to do the same scores on all edges. So if we go to 7, we need to go 3/4 of an inch, and then 3/4 of an inch. So we want to cut this now to 8.5. Okay, so 8.5 inches. Does that make sense? Is that clear? I don't know if any of our gallery members are watching this, or if any of them are doing the mathematics. They're probably not. So, no, of course they're not. They've
That's
just
brilliant,
said no.
isn't it? No, they're not doing it.
So what did I say? 8.5,
8.5,
didn't I?
yeah.
8.5. So we cut that to 8.5. Okay. And then we'll cut this to 8.5. So we've got an 8.5 inch square. And this is, you know, sometimes this is kind of the fun in crafting, because you're having to work it out yourself. If you get a template, it's great, because you just put that on, draw around it and cut it out. But sometimes you have to really, really think about it, as I've done there. So now we know that we've got 8.5 inch square. So what we're going to do now, we're going to bring the scoring tool out, and we're going to score, as we said, at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, like that. So 3/4 of an inch, and then again another 3/4 of an inch, which will take us to 1.5. 1.5. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank goodness for that. Okay. And then they're puffing and panting in the gallery here. They're going, whoa.
I know. I think that's their brains getting fried by all
Is
these
it?
numbers, probably. It doesn't take a lot, I don't think.
It worries me a bit, because they're doing the sales figures in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're, yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah. And you've probably got calculator in there, have you, or not? In your brain? Oh, see.
He does all the
Yeah, of course you
calculations in
do.
his head, he's just saying.
He's funny, and I love listening to Dean in my ear.
Do you?
It's like having a comedian, isn't it, with you all day
Oh,
long?
all day. I mean, you're surrounded by so many comedians, aren't you? One in your
that's,
ear,
we've
one in
got
the
a-
studio.
We've got an absolute,
Oof.
yeah, gallery full, haven't we?
Absolutely.
So can you see now, when we put that on there, if I lift it up a little bit, we've left that tiny little edge, but I'm doing the frame just a tiny bit deeper than my original one, only
Yeah.
because the numbers were easier to calculate than they were on the one I've done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring in the template again,
Okay.
and we're going to pop this onto here, because now what we need to do is we need to cut an aperture out of here, so that when we put this on, we've got like the inner of the frame, if that makes sense. If you wanted to, at this point, put your photograph in there and then stick that on, you can. But what I wanted to do it so it's more like a window, like that, because then you've got the option of putting your picture in. You might even want some shakers in the bottom, or you might want to do something else in there that would be relevant to whatever your picture is of. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to cut now the aperture again out the middle of here. Okay, so what we'll do, I've still got a bit of tape on there from before, so we can put that in the machine again. And we can cut that out. So let's put it on there.
Whilst you're cutting, Paul Prince is in South Carolina. Mary Pat's in Montana. Avril Hayward says, good afternoon, I'm here now. I was just on the website buying more. What were you buying, Avril?
Yeah, tell us.
Lois Sciathachis in Ohio. Tina B says, don't forget the thumbs up. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Stick up your thumbs if you're having crafty fun. Samantha Cheney is in. Carolyn's in Florida. Kendall Sarafian joins us as well. Loads of you watching, which is marvellous, marvellous, marvellous. I don't think we've got any questions yet, which is not marvellous, marvellous, marvellous. We're about 20 minutes away from Essentials Corner, so you know what to do, everybody. You know what to do.
Exactly. There we go. So now we've got our aperture cut into the base, and then we can put, this should fit on there nicely like that, and then we can start to build it up as a frame. Okay, so let's do the, now I don't know what, this will be an interesting question to ask our viewers. Do you, when you're making something like this, do you do your cuts first, or in your cuts here, or do you actually do your folds and then cut? Because I do a bit of both, you know, and I can never quite tell.
Oh, cut then fold.
Cut then fold. Okay, okay. So what we need to do, so this is where you need to think, because when you're cutting with something like this, we've got two edges, so we need to figure out where we're going to cut. So I always just cut up the first one like that. Don't go right the way up, because I'm always worried that I'm going to do the wrong thing.
Right.
So that's because we've got like two score lines there. If you've got one, it's fine. You know what you're doing. So what we do now is we'll do that. So you can see now when we fold that in, and let's fold this in now so you can see exactly how this is going to work. Right, so we've got that one now. So obviously we need to do another cut now. So we can go right up to there, and that's just, it's a bit like when you're cutting fabric, you know, they always say measure twice and cut once, because once you've cut, you can't go back.
That's it, yeah.
You know, and if you've only got like one sheet of the special card that you're using, and you mess it up, then that's, you know, that's the thing. So, okay, so now we can do that fold. So don't be afraid of doing your folds as you go, because sometimes it can help your brain figure out which way you're tucking it in. So what we can do now, we need to cut now. This is going to fold, and this is going to tuck in here like this. So let's do rather than doing a cut here, let's do a fold. So I don't know if I'm confusing you or if I'm trying to explain it in a different way, because we have lots of new viewers who might think, well, I've never made a frame before. How does that work? So let's fold along there now, because we can do some other cutting in a second, like that. So this is probably the trickiest bit really of doing this. And then we can fold this over. So let's just find that line, because obviously what I've done the scores, and then I've put it through the machine to cut it. So if you do want to go back over your scores again, you can. That's fine as well. So we've got them all cut now. These are cut. What I want to do is fold that now, and then I've got a little bit of something on there off the mat, I think. So what we need to do now, we know that this can be cut here, like that, okay, and that will tuck inside there, okay. So we'll do that on all the edges as well, just so that we know that bit can come off as well. So let's do that bit there. So I'm doing exactly the same on both sides. I'm just trying to explain it like easily, because sometimes my brain gets tired and I'm like, oh, I've cut too many squares off. If I'm trying to make a cube, I very often do it wrong. And then I've cut the bits off then. So now we can see how this is going to go. So this will fold over here, okay? So we can see now that we can cut that off. So that can come off all the way. there, and there. And what you can do, draw yourself a template, and then you can see exactly where you're folding and where you're cutting. Sometimes helps. Like that. Okay. So then, what we have now is we have this here, like this. Okay, so this one will bend over here. So we still need to cut another square off here. Okay, like this. So it's up to you which one you cut now, because we need to do a piece that goes over, so this will attach to it. So you usually end up with this one here out now. Yep. And then you'll see you've got a pattern emerging then. You've got like steps, and that's what normally you would have in your head when you're doing something like this, like a box or a frame, or you just have to imagine steps. So you've got like one going up and one going down.
Deb says hi, Angie's in, Mary Shaw. Avril bought the tea and coffee collection that she's been wanting for ages, some nesting dies, and of course the glue fine tip with her birthday money. That glue's been very popular the last week or so. How are we getting on with the questions, Jan? Have we got any in? Because it's going to be a quiet 15 minutes at the end of the show. Any questions you've got on construction, on card making, these embossing folders, glues, stamps, pens, papers, whatever you like, really.
Yeah.
Any questions about Sheila?
Oh, gosh, no.
What?
Right.
Jean Marie's joined us as well on a foggy rainy day. No questions. This is unprecedented.
Is that a first? They probably know everything by now because we've, you know what I mean?
Well, they might do.
Or they might just be having a rest.
Might be what?
Just having a rest.
Having
they
a
might
rest,
just be watching and thinking.
It means we've done our jobs brilliantly, though, Sheila, doesn't it? If they haven't got any questions, it must mean that we've imparted all the knowledge and everyone knows everything. So that's marvellous.
Whoops. Yeah, we'll. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be reet.
We can always. Do you know what I did think as well? I thought with these, what you could do, and we'll be able to try it once we've done this frame, is to see if we could do like 3 that would hang.
Oh yeah.
So can you imagine if you did this with the heart and the roses, and you had 3 hanging? Oh,
that'd
sorry,
be cute.
Jamie. 3 hanging in a line, and then you had like wedding pictures in. So you might have bride and groom, groom and groom, or bride and bride. You might have mum and dad, and then in-law, mum and dad.
Or you
know
could
what
have
I mean?
like parents, pets, children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or
Pets, children.
pets,
So you
probably the
could
right
do
order.
that. You could do something like that. So what we've got now, I've cut a piece of acetate, but rather than cut the whole section, I've just done a slightly smaller one. As long as that is covered, then that is fine. So let's find the protective covering on here, see which side it's on. I don't know if it's on this side or if it's on the other side. You just put your poker tool in around the corner like that. All of a sudden it'll lift up. I think it's this side. It looks like it is. I can't tell. I'm going to turn it around and try it that way. And do you know what? Even when you find it and you peel it off, it's the loveliest feeling. I don't know why. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's just so lovely when you peel it off like that. Am I weird?
No, I kind of get that.
It's just
I kind of get that. It's just kind of satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. My cats love it. Well, one of them does when I peel that off because she's straight. She can see it. She goes on the windowsill for a bit and then she walks along across my unit and like my 12 by 12 rack. Yeah. And she sits on the rack, on top of the rack on the 12 by 12s. So she's here and she just watches and I'm like, what are you doing? And she just sits and watches. And every time I put a piece of stuff in the bin, whether it's plastic like that or whether it's acetate or piece of card, just watching everything that goes in there. And she loves the red backing of this tape.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as they see it. And you know when you take it off and it doesn't like move, it sticks to your hand.
Yeah.
And I do this over my bin because I've got a bin that hangs from the table. I do this and then it'll miss the bin, it'll fall on the floor and she's just straight there.
You see?
And I'm like, no, you can't eat that. I have to chase her because it's plastic.
Cats like paper and wrapping and stuff like that, don't they, I find?
Yeah.
They'd have to play with all those bits and pieces.
Yeah, all the bits of rubbish. And we keep finding bits of cards, thin like slithers of card that we've cut from something. So yeah, she's quite funny. Not all the time, but a lot of the time.
What are your cats called again?
Loki and Ursa.
That was it. Loki and Ursa.
I never call them that. I just shout. I just go, kittens, come on. And they just go, wherever they are, they just come running, both of them. It's because we didn't give them a name for a long time because we couldn't think of names, and we got them just before we went into lockdown.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, well, we don't need to rush at giving them names. Let's just see what the characters are like, and then we'll, you know, and then we can name them. So we just kind of took our time, really, trying to think of names for them. So, and then obviously, we came up with those, and then by that time, I think they were about 3 or 4 months old, and we'd just been calling them kittens all the time.
I love that.
And it's funny because kittens, yeah. And they're not kittens. I mean, they're 6, you know, now. 6 this year, but we just shout kittens. And it's funny because if the little girl, she's quite mischievous, you know, and you can hear like things moving in another room, and you think, right, what's she doing? And then Wayne will go in and she'll be getting something out of a bag or something, and he just go, and because I always go, kittens, kittens, oh, where's my kittens, like this. And then he goes, and it sounds really funny because he goes, kitten, like that, and shouts because she's doing something naughty. But kitten. Because it sounds like it's cute, it's a cute name, it sounds wrong when you shout it, you know what I mean? Kitten, like that. And then I go, what's she doing? She's getting such a thing out of here, you know. That's she's funny. A menace, but yeah, it's funny. Kittens. Yeah, I did build an enclosure.
Oh yeah, I think did we see a video of that? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
You might have done. I mean, you know, because when we got them, just going into lockdown. So obviously we didn't let them out for a while, and we were living in an old vicarage at the time. So there was like a big garden, and then behind it was like the churchyard, like the graveyard. So they used to go and like climb through the trees and onto the wall, and then they'd go mooch in the graveyard. And
the graveyard backed onto your house?
It backed onto big garden though. It was a long way from the house.
At least your neighbours were quiet.
Pardon? We didn't have any. Yeah.
Sorry.
Of course they were. Yeah. Not that old joke. Yeah, that old one. Funny. You're funny, Ben.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So can you see now how we've got this? Now what I would suggest to you at this point, because if we're going to put a picture in here now, there's a couple of ways of doing it. You could put your picture in there, so you would just see what you've got here. Or otherwise, you could put some foam pads in or foam tape, and then put your picture on that, because then it'll sit a bit away from the front of here, and you'll be able to look in and see the rest of the picture. That makes sense.
Yes.
So what we're going to do now, we're going to quickly just trim these edges on the top and the bottom sections, and then we can tape that together. So you would obviously put your photo in before you put your backing on.
3 questions now, which is brilliant. 3, yes.
Yay!
My cats pull scraps of paper out of the bin and take them outside onto the catio, says Jackie Kosh. And Joanne says, my cat can hear the furnace start and lays on the floor register near my chair. He's big enough to cover the entire register. And Nicole Brother Rick Rack is in. My cat is the same with red liner tape. And my Coco loves to pinch foam pads.
Oh, really? Yeah, mine's got a bit of an addiction for, like, plastic bags. So, you know, if I bring stuff in a plastic bag, like cellophane bag that you would put cards in and stuff, then she brings she'll go and grab a bag, and I can hear her munching on it, and then I'll go in my, like, room, and I can see all the bags have got teeth marks in. And that's a bad thing for them, really. You know, you don't want them doing that because it's bad for them. So, yeah, so she's a bit naughty.
Pets, eh?
Pets, I know.
She has just said this looks a lot easier than the frames I've made in the past.
Okay. Might because I've done it quite slow.
Yeah.
Really.
Beautiful beginnings, all about taking things back and stepping things back a little bit so that hopefully you can all see what's going on.
Yeah, because it's nice to be able to explain things and not have to, you know, do it in a hurry. Especially if we're doing measurements, because I'm rubbish if I'm doing measurements. You know, I like just I like cutting and sticking things down, and then I'll go, oh, it's not fitted really, that. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll pop that one onto there, and then you can cut a piece of card to go on the back of here. So I've got another piece here. Oh, look at that. That was just left from what I cut before. So I'll trim that down just a fraction, so we have a slight edge on it. And then it just fits nice and neat on the back, and it makes it a bit tidier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll cut, I've done about 2 or 3 millimetres there. So what we'll do, if you do it off 2 adjacent edges, which is like, if you imagine, because I always just think, oh, how am I going to remember that 2 adjacent edges? It's not 2 opposite, it's like, remember an L shape.
Yeah.
So you know that if you go that way, so you know it's going to be fine. And that will go on the back, so we'll just do that with a bit of tape. You would put your photo in, if you're going to put photo in. You might want to fill it with other things like, you know, little seashells. You might want to do it like a big wide shaker. I do remember a friend of mine who was a demonstrator as well. She made something with, it was a bit similar to Tea and Coffee Collection.
Oh yeah.
Did a shaker card, but what she did was she made it really deep and she actually put coffee beans in it.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
I think it was like a cup and saucer.
Yeah.
So she did actually put like coffee beans in it. And then I know another friend of mine that was a demonstrator did like proper shells in it when there was a beach theme collection. So it's nice to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, put chunky things in. You might be doing it for someone who sews, so you might want to put some little buttons in and things. Little,
yeah.
You know,
such a good idea, all these different shakers, because I think a lot of people just go with the standard sequins, don't they? Or,
yeah.
you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. But it is quite nice to, you know, to think a bit differently. And if you've got 12 by 12 card or big pieces of card,
Yeah.
you know, you'd be surprised how big like a depth of a box you can do and put shaker elements in. You know, you could do it for someone who may be a nail technician, throw loads of fox nails in, or, you know what I mean? There's loads and loads of ways of doing it. So what we can do now is we can pop this onto the front, like this. So then you would have your photograph in there if you so desire.
Yeah.
And then what we'll do, so I'm going to pop this on with my glue. You can do it with tape if you want, or you can do it with your foam pads. I wanted it to sit quite close to the base. So what I've done is I've gone along and I've looked at where the embossed, the debossed on this side. I've put glue on the debossed edges here. So that will kind of hold it onto the main frame. You can always add an extra bit here and there. But as you can see here, these are the like debossed panels. So you can use that to your advantage for gluing it in place.
Yeah.
And you find there's quite a few along like the edges there. But you can still put a little bit of glue on there too. Or you might want to secure it with a bit of your glue gel. Or you might want to do it with your glue gun, just do a thin layer. But yeah, I've just done this on my other one, so just on those.
Whilst you're just adding, we can say hi to Sheila, who says she's saving this show.
Oh, okay.
And Alison says, we have a churchyard at the end of our road as we live in Church Walk. We always tell people that we have a dead end. Get it?
Brilliant,
Yes,
dead
I like
end.
that, Alison. And Mary Shaw says, Munchkin, that's Munchkin the dog, likes the foam on the finger daubers. If I drop one, I have to pick it up right away or she will have it. It's like she can hear the difference in the sounds when I drop items.
Wow. Pets, like you say.
They're
always there, aren't they?
Aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Always
I mean,
getting up to no good.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I do like having pets, though. I do like having pets. And I would like to have a dog in the end, but obviously where we are now, we can't. When we moved into the house, I did say to my friend, we have got like some cats and 2 cats, and so I understand if you don't want us to, you know, bring them in. I said, but we will put them, we'll have an enclosure and they can go into the conservatory. I mean, they do come in the living room and stuff, but they have we let them sit on blankets so it's not, you know, damaging anything, or mind you, it's our own furniture anyway, so it doesn't matter. Right, so what we need to do now is we need to bring in the embossing folder again, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick couple of flowers on here.
Okay.
So what we want to do is we want to emboss this flower here and cut it out and raise it up. So we can just do that on, let me just find, that'll fit like that, and we can pop that through the machine quickly. So we need I know everything's, I moved everything away out the way because I thought I'm done now with the cutting, but then I realised, no, I'm not.
Samantha says this is a really neat project. Can you use this as a box lid too, asks Sheila.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you would make your lid, your box and your lid probably first, and then you would, so that would be your lid, wouldn't it? But you wouldn't have your base underneath it. You'd just have those little, the little sides on and attach those together. So that then makes your lid. But yeah, it would definitely work like that. Definitely. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to cut the rows out first. So we're doing the, so we'll cut the flower out and then we'll emboss it again. Now if we've got chance, and I'll do it really quickly, we were going to see if the paste would work. So we'll see how much time we've got. We've only got we've not got long left. But so this is our flower. I need to do that again, and I'm just going to chuck that big piece in because it just saves me cutting it. It's quicker because I want the piece in between to have the leaves on, and I didn't do that with that piece. I missed a bit. I was trying to save card. You know. Yeah, trying to save card, and I was like, oh, now I've not got my leaves on. So what we can do is we'll pop that over there like that, and then we will use these scissors. It's quicker, I think, just for me to do those. So we're just going to cut that out.
Wow.
And obviously you can be a bit slower than I am. I'm just doing it now for the sake of kind of.
Look at that fussy cutting. Look at that.
Time that we've got.
Meow.
I don't normally do it with scissors this big. I would normally do it with smaller scissors.
Oh, the little snips, yeah.
Yeah, like little scissors. But hey, if you're doing it in a hurry, sometimes it's a bit easy to do it with just a bigger scissor, like that. So, and again, I was thinking, I bet it'd be nice done in like black, and then put your gilding wax on, you know, and have a look at some of your, you know, your other embossing folders. You might be able to. There's nothing stopping you from maybe getting a piece of card and cutting an aperture in it with your nesting dies, and then actually putting that through an embossing folder. So if you imagine like the one that came with the Wildwood Whimsy.
Oh yeah,
the
that's
wooden
a nice one, yeah.
Or even like your carved wood ones or your macrame ones. Some might not work, but anything with an all-over pattern I think would work. So it's definitely worth trying it. So what we'll do now, we'll pop this one onto here. Just grab one or two pads. Again, if you want to, you can do it with glue gel, so it'll lift it up a little bit more. And I'm not putting it on the leaves. I'm just putting it on the flower, because that way then the flower will be a little bit rounded, and your this doesn't want to come off, and your leaves will sit like closer to the frame.
Four questions now as well. Thank you, everybody. We'll have enough to take us to the end.
So pop that one onto there like that, and then this one, couple of pads on here, and then very, very quickly. And the back piece, to make it stand up, if you're wanting it to stand up, just needs to be like a rectangle, like this. So you can just do a piece like this, and it can be any length. I'll just show you how to do that. You would score somewhere like that. So this is about 2 inches. Yeah, 2 inches I thought it was. That would then go onto the back there. Like that. So that makes your frame. Before you stick it on though, you need to kind of do this so that you choose the angle where it goes. You need to make sure that is, you know, not overhanging here. And then we had this quick idea which we thought might work. This was the original idea with the team.
Yeah.
But because of the glitter paste that I'd got, the one I got was too chunky. So I'm just using one of my very old paintbrushes here. Oh my goodness. Oh, I need some of this glitter paste. This is beautiful.
Which one is that?
This is it's a chunky glitter paste, but it's a snowflake. The one I've got is the extra chunky. So it's got like it's got like almost like, they're not sequins, but they're like, it's a bit more lumpy. But this one is nice on here. This is very wedding-like, isn't it? Can you see that sparkle on there now?
You see the little bits of, little bits of glitter.
I do. Yeah, I do. I didn't like it with the extra chunky. It was too much. It just looked like it was a bit untidy, and there were too many kind of globules on this. This is a nice one. What we'll do, we'll keep the leaves free, and then we'll pop some on the actual flower itself. But we'll leave the leaves plain. Just need to get that off, whatever it is. I feel like it's a little string. Right, we're going to go across onto the sofa now, I believe, and answer your questions. But shall I just lift this up and then they can see the sparkle on that, like that?
That is amazing.
Isn't it nice? It looks really nice on there.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, and then we'll stick the back on there, and then there we go.
Thank you for all the comments coming through.
Thank you.
Good morning to Tiffany Sexton, who's just joined us. Samantha Cheney says this is a really neat project. And we've got 5 questions, apparently, which is good, which is just about the right amount of questions, because we've got about 6-7 minutes left on the show. So we'll get ready to answer these questions. Jan will send them through, and we'll meet you over in Essentials Corner in just a few moments' time.
Discover a whole world of creative inspiration on the Crafters Companion YouTube channel. From binge-worthy crafting series to quick ideas for the last-minute occasion. There's something for every crafter. And when you want even more, watch Crafters TV live and on demand with demos, new product launches and real-time crafting fun. Subscribe now and start crafting with us today.
Hello and welcome back. Thank you for the questions that you sent in. 5, which is brilliant. It's a nice amount. Ready to ask Sheila. Right, are you ready? Sorry, I was just scanning the questions. They're all marvellous. So Ouch is asking about acetate.
Yes.
What's the difference between the different sorts of acetate? Like heat resistant, what? Oh,
yes. Well, acetate is measured in microns. That indicates how thick it is. So we do have like quite thick acetate, which is good for construction and good for, you know, doing anything that needs a bit more chunky one. We do have as well a printable one, don't we? That you can print onto, I think, using your computer printer.
Yeah.
And then we do have the heat resistant, which means if you want to stamp on there and use some embossing powders and heat it up, it won't like bend and go out of shape. It'll just stay flat. So I think those are the three that we have, aren't they? I think. And we have obviously the foiled acetate.
Oh yes, of course.
That comes in the big packs, 8x8 and 12x12. But that's a brief kind of indication as to what they do.
Helen says, is there a way to identify a marker by its colour? Some are pale blue, some are maroon, which are alcohol and which are watercolour markers. So they're all in like different colour barrels, aren't they? So
yes. So the illustrators are grey, aren't they? Like a pale grey. The classics are black.
As are the tri-blends.
The tri-blends are black, but tricolour are like a pale blue, aren't they?
So no, the tri-blend brush pens are in like the paler colour barrel, like a grey barrel.
Yes.
And then you've got the tri-colours, which are in the burgundy barrel.
Are they water-based or not?
No, the tri-colours are the alcohol ones in the burgundy barrel, and then the aqua marker. So you've got the blue, and then the tricolour aquas are also blue,
yes,
like light blue.
Those are the ones that I've got. That's what I was thinking of, the tricolour aquas, because I've got 2 or 3 of those.
So many pens.
Yeah, there's too many pens, aren't there? But yeah, black and burgundy and grey and light blue.
Yeah.
They're the 4 different ones, as Ben has just named them.
So basically, black, burgundy, grey are your alcohols, aren't they? And then the light blues are your aquas.
Yes. Yeah. Bit like water, light blue, so that would help with that maybe.
Next question from Debs Fenton. I really struggle, says Debs, to get a crisp image when I stamp, especially sentiments, which makes me avoid using them. I use the stamping platform. I don't know if I'm pressing on too hard. What might be the thing there with Debs if she's not getting a crisp image?
It could be. I think we've had this question before, haven't we? Where if you're using like a photopolymer or an acrylic stamp, they're quite they're quite stretchy. They're a bit like a lump of jelly, really, aren't they? Like a jelly cube, as we would have here. They're a bit kind of stretchy. So too much pressure can make them like, if you do uneven pressure or too much pressure on one edge, you might find it does a thicker, more pronounced line than at the other end. So it's just about trying to maybe just try and do some even pressure. Another temptation is to do that all over it, because that's what I do as well. And very often I get that. I go, oh, I'm going to have to do it again.
Yeah.
So it's not that you're doing it wrong. I think it's just like a practice thing. Because if you use a rubber stamp, you don't really get that, because a rubber stamp is solid, a bit like a car tyre, so it won't compress like a photopolymer or an acrylic stamp would. So maybe just, I mean, the other thing you could do is try it on a smaller platform. You know, we have the 4x4 ones.
Oh, yeah.
You could try it on something like that, because the temptation is, if it's on a big one, is to press down really hard with both your hands. Whereas if you do it smaller and it's a smaller stamp, you might just do pressure with a couple of fingers rather than your whole hand. So that might help. You could try that. I think it's practice, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Question coming in from, there's two left, Stephen Ferguson. When embossing, says Stephen, do you ink the embossing folder first? So if you wanted to add, when embossing, do you ink the embossing folder first?
Yeah, you can do both. You can do both. I mean, a lot of people put the ink on both sides, so that when it then goes through and they open it up, both sides are done. So one is debossed, one is embossed, but you decide then which one you'd like. But you can apply it after, but you would emboss your card first, like we've done with the photo frame there today. And then you would apply ink with like your blending sponge or your blending brushes. You would do it that way, and that will just pick up certain areas. But you can do either. You'll get a kind of a bit of a different look to each one.
And the final question, which has come in from Sheila, do you always fussy cut towards the handle and not the points of the scissors, or is it preference? So where are you holding the paper or the card when you're fussy cutting? Towards the handle?
Do you know what? It's not something I've thought about that. Because what you'd probably, because the idea is you get the best fussy cut if you move your paper and not your scissors. Yeah. So the more you practice, the more you'll get the idea of how to do it. Because when you're taught, to cut, you cut like this, don't you? Cut round. Yeah. Whereas in craft, if you start to do like fussy cutting, you end up where if you're cutting a flower and it's got lots of round edges, it's easier to turn your paper as you're cutting.
And you're not snipping as much, are you?
No, you're not snipping as much. You're using the full length of the blades, if you can, to actually do that kind of thing. So you're shaping it within the blades. But you do, if you're right-handed and left-handed as well, you will be bringing your paper round to where the handles are up here.
Some brilliant questions, brilliantly answered by the brilliant Sheila. So thank you, and it was brilliantly timed. I mean, it's all just brilliant, really, wasn't it? I mean, what more can you say?
Everybody said that in our ear as well. Brilliant, brilliant.
Brilliant.
Oh, what a funny family we have here.
Oh, aren't they? Aren't they funny? We've got another show coming up at 4.
Yes.
Masterclass.
Masterclass, yes. Where we'll be doing we'll be doing cards and things that you. It's all about getting prepped ahead of time, really, which I think a lot of us do anyway. Don't we? Know if there's a birthday coming up, we need to do a card. So it's all about doing like 2 or 3 in advance.
And then Easter tonight, isn't it? We're Eastering tonight. Yeah.
Yes. So we've got bunting, napkin holder, and what else? We've got cake toppers. Yeah, we've got some samples, some freshly made samples, and a few ideas. So we'll share those with you.
All that coming up over the course of the rest of the day today, so make sure you come and join us. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your comments. And of course, if you've not yet given us a thumbs up, make sure you do it. I can't remember the catchphrase now. I was going to do it, but I'm running out of time. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Just give us a thumbs up. Marvellous stuff. And we'll see you back here in an hour. Until then, bye for now.